Well, hi everybody, and welcome to the Fireside Chat. So I have a very challenging thought before I take your questions. There is a verse, actually a law. There are 613 laws in the Torah, the first 5 books. All the laws of the Bible are in the first 5 books, the Torah, which are the most important books of the Bible. I know people don't like to make measurements. They don't like to say bigger sin or lesser sin or more good or lesser good, but I'm a big believer in that. Anyway, the first 5 books are the basis of the Old and New Testaments. There is a law which I would like to apply to modern American life, and if you're listening outside of America, I think you will find this just as important. So the law is Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 7. And I want to remind you, incidentally, that the latest volume of my Bible commentary is Deuteronomy, which is not well known, even certainly by name, but I'd just like you to know, for your interest, it is the most cited book of any, including any secular book, any Enlightenment book, any Greek or Roman classic, or any biblical book. It is the most often cited book by the founders of the United States of America, and it's the second most cited book by Jesus in the New Testament from the Old Testament, which is the only Bible he knew, obviously, and that is Deuteronomy. The first, by the way, was Psalms, in case you're curious, in the terms of Jesus' citations. The law is, do not hate an Egyptian. It's an amazing law, amazing. The Israelites had just spent horrible, long years of slavery, generations of slavery in Egypt. And there's a law, if you believe it, and I do, given by God, if not, given by Moses, and if you will, in the name of God, doesn't matter. But there's the law, and it is ancient, and it is probably to the generation that has just left Egypt, and forever. You cannot hate an Egyptian. Why is this so important? I wish that there were leaders in America today saying to Black America, you cannot hate a white. That is so relevant and so important. This issue of hatred of whites among some blacks in America is never touched because people are afraid. Cowardice is the human norm. There's no other explanation because everybody knows it exists. And if not hatred, resentment, anger, you name the negative emotion. If hatred is too strong, the other two will suffice. And it's particularly remarkable given that we are now living 160 or so years after slavery. This is not the first generation after slavery. This is 160 years later. And there was still a great deal of hatred and resentment. Now, of course, there was Jim Crow and racism in the meantime. It's not like the day slavery ended, treatment of blacks was wonderful throughout America. I'm not claiming that. I know that. But certainly in the post-World War II era, and certainly in the civil rights era and on, the reasons for a black to resent whites certainly receded. And I would like to remind people that unlike the Egyptians, vast numbers of American whites died in a war that ended slavery. Just that's important. No Egyptians died fighting Pharaoh's slavery. So this is a really big deal. If you're black and you take the Bible seriously, this is as applicable a law as I can imagine. Don't hate the white. But the irony is that the biggest fomenters of hatred of whites are whites. white leftists, white wokeists, whatever term you wish to use, white progressives, they foment hate. The black left and the white left basically almost live on white hatred, white resentment, white supremacy, and white fragility, and all these Chinese Revolution-like classes and courses and seminars at businesses and schools on racism. And if you're a white and you deny you're a racist, you're a bigger racist. And if you don't deny you're a racist anyway. You're a racist just being a white. That's a terrible lie, a horrible lie, a destructive lie, and it's at least as bad for black people as it is for white people. That's the irony, because you can't be a happy or healthy person if you walk around feeling that you're a victim and hating a certain group of people in your midst. It's just not going to be good for you on any level. My wife raised this issue with her trainer, and he happens to be a black individual, and he told her that this was such an important subject to him. He is one of, I don't remember, I think 7 children, and only 2 of them, he said, we were all raised to resent and even hate whites, all 7 of us. So at this point, let me remind you that because we have reason to worry that one day YouTube, which is owned by Google, will simply say, no more PragerU on our platform because of how much censoring takes place. We hope it never happens. But in light of that, we would ask you at this point to watch the rest of this Fireside Chat or listen to the rest of this Fireside Chat at PragerU.com. Our hope is that you'll simply go to PragerU.com every week and see the Fireside Chat there, for which reason we also recommend that you get the PragerU app, and then you just click on that and everything else follows. So go to PragerU.com and we'll continue.